I always considered myself as lazy. While I was in school, if I failed my test, it was because I was lazy and I didn't study. If I didn't do my homework, it was because I was lazy and I didn't do my homework. Even after graduated college and I'm working full time, I still have this self-criticism that I'm lazy. I believe that because oftentimes I want to read a book, but I end up not reading. I want to clean the house on the weekends on my days off work, but I end up not cleaning. I want to work on fixing something around the house, but end up not doing it. I want to learn coding on my days off work, but I end up not doing any coding. It is especially harder to not be lazy in the modern day. The temptation to just lay down on a bed or sofa and doom scroll on our phone is just too strong. It is very easy to just end up doom scrolling all day long. For the longest time, I believed that I'm just hopeless and lazy. I'll never be productive and I'll never complete any tasks or goals until recently. Something changed. Maybe it's because I turned 40 years old. I reflected on my life, possibly going through a midlife crisis. Anyways, regardless of what it is, something in me decided to finally do something about this. In the past, I would go through cycles of high energy and high motivation. I would put in time and effort to go through coding tutorials online. But eventually, something happens and life gets busy and throws me off track. And I would think I'll return to my tutorials after I sort this issue out. But after a few days of life happening, I will lose that energy and motivation and the whole tutorial just gets abandoned. I used to just call this lazy. I'm not sure what else to call it. If I'm just laying down on my bed all day, either doom scrolling on my phone or playing mobile games on my phone, that's just, lazy. Recently, I decided to research into this. I didn't just go into another coding tutorial or read a book. I decided to learn more about this concept of motivation. This elusive motivation that I searched for and prayed for to change my life for the better. How can I make myself feel motivated so that I can be more consistent and actually complete something? How can I motivate myself so that I stop being lazy? Motivation felt random. Sometimes watching motivational video helps. TED Talk videos are usually pretty good. Sometimes I like watching these Minecraft self-improvement videos, but there are times where I would get stuck watching these motivational videos all day and nothing gets done. On top of not being reliable, it also takes time to consume and watch the video. If I set aside 2 hours of my day and I spend 10 to 20 minutes watching these videos to feel motivated, then I'm pretty much down to 1.5 hours of work time. Here's what I found from my research. I learned that I got this all backwards. Motivation is not the first step. You don't wait for motivation to start. You have to start first, and motivation will build. Motivation is like momentum. Once you start, the momentum carries you. You might be wondering, how do I start if I'm feeling lazy or unmotivated? The answer is, you start small. So, for example, for school, if you have this big essay to write, most people will think, I must set a plan, a few hours of study session, and write this big essay, like a 5 hours work session or an epic all-nighter. I will do this essay this weekend, 5 hours on Saturday and 5 hours on Sunday, and the big essay will be done. At least that's how I used to think when I was in school. The problem is that Saturday comes and you had a busy week. Saturday, you feel tired and you want to catch up on rest or something happens and your whole plan is thrown off track. You pull an all-nighter on Sunday nights out of necessity, but the essay ends up incomplete still. So, planning and motivation isn't reliable. I can't depend on my plan working, and I can't depend on motivation to come to me. What's the solution? The solution is to scale it down. Don't wait for the weekend. Right now, just tell yourself you will write 2 sentences for this essay. Just 2 sentences. If the essay is a book reflection or book analysis, then right now, right this second, stop watching this video and just read 2 paragraphs of that book. 2 paragraphs. Should take you 10 minutes maximum. Just spare that maybe even 5 to 10 minutes of your day to read just a little bit. After that, you can continue with your day. Make sure you continue this small work the rest of the week. If you are lucky, that motivation might even come to you. And you can do more than that original 5 to 10 minutes. If it doesn't come, then you still have that weekend plan of that big work session. If you have that 5 minutes put in every day, you will shave off maybe 30 minutes of that big 5-hour session. Chances are that you'll have more than 5 minutes put in each day, even if you are lazy and fail your big 5-hour plan on Saturday and Sunday. At least you will be in a better spot than your usual of no work put in. Oftentimes, once you start doing that 5 minutes of work, motivation comes, and you end up putting in a lot more work than you intended. At least for me, I put in 5 minutes, and once my 5-minute timer goes off, I often say to myself, I can put in another 5 more minutes. This applies to everything, even outside of school. I do this with reading and exercising now. I do this because I want to do good, and I want to change my life for the better. My desire is there. If you have that desire, you will realize that 5 minutes wasn't too bad, and I can put in another 5 more minutes. That is the momentum, and that is the motivation that you wanted. Motivation comes once you start. The first step is the hard part. To make that first step easier, you just need to scale down your goal. Scale down that 5 hours workload down to 5-minute chunks. Sometimes after the 5 minutes, the motivation still doesn't come. That is fine. You did your 5 minutes, that you have fulfilled your promise to yourself. If you don't have that motivation, that's okay. If you do this and fulfill your daily 5-minute promise to yourself, eventually that motivation will come. Basically, this goes back to the concept of small steps, which I have talked about in my other videos that I have made on my channel. Take the small step of 5 minutes instead of a huge step of 5 hours. This method works outside of school as well, even at work and chores around the house. This is the concept that I apply to everything in my life now. It is also known as the atomic habits or Kaizen. There's many names for this life-changing philosophy, and all it requires was for me to start my small habits consistent daily. I'm currently no longer in school, being 40 years old and all, but I do apply this to my physical health. I started my physical health improvements with taking daily 5-minute walks consistently. 5 minutes is easy, and it isn't much time in the day. Even if you can't spare 5 minutes, you can aim for 2 minutes or even 1 minute. The idea is to train yourself to adopt a good habit, something beneficial to you daily, no matter how small. That 1% improvement is better than 0%. Eventually, one day, I have the extra motivation and energy to increase my 5-minute daily walk to longer walks. Then I added daily stretching with my daily walks. Then I added a few push-ups daily. And this good habit just kept on evolving. I call this my Zelda Triforce philosophy. I love Zelda games. I believe that we need to have a balance and a healthy mind, body, and soul. I also believe that the body is the foundation to building the mind health. Then the mind health builds the soul health. I call this my Triforce philosophy because I see the power Triforce as physical body health, and I see the wisdom Triforce as mind health, and I see courage as soul health. For my wisdom Triforce, or the mind health, I also apply the same small step approach, and I decided to start reading just 2 or 3 pages consistently daily. Eventually, I would have days where I would read for hours. I don't read for hours daily, but I do make sure I fulfill my promise to myself of reading 2 or 3 pages daily. I started with reading fiction fantasy books. Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson was the book I started with, and I loved it. I started reading other fantasy books by various other authors, and then started branching out to different genres of books. Eventually, I started reading a lot of self-help book like The Atomic Habits by James Clear, and many other psychology self-help books. These books are life-changing, and I feel like this reading habit had led me to that goal of life change for the better that I had been searching for. For my Courage Triforce, or soul health, I decided to make YouTube videos. It really is Courage Triforce because it takes courage to make videos and post them online for anyone to see. Especially these videos where I talk about my personal stories and personal philosophy and personal beliefs. Not many people are willing to share so many of their private thoughts to the world. I make these videos because both exercise and reading are something that I put in. They're inputs. I put in exercise time, and I do exercise to improve my health. I put in reading time and read to improve my mental health. So I needed to make videos to make an output of contents on YouTube. They're not great contents like Mr. Beast, but I'm new still and trying to learn how to make good videos all the time. Learning how to tell a story, learning how to write a script, learning how to make a video title and thumbnail, and learning how to edit videos. There's so much to improve on still. My goal is to eventually make good videos that will help motivate people who are watching to improve themselves, improve their physical health, mental health, and soul health. Motivate people to start training their Triforce. Even if you are still not comfortable with posting videos, you can explore other forms of outputs. The importance of the Courage Triforce is to create any type of outputs. It could be cooking, woodworking, coding, even just writing journal works too. In fact, journaling is probably a very good starting point as it stays private to you only. Once you feel the courage, you can start making contents inside your journal into a video form and post them. And just like the power and the wisdom Triforce, I started my Courage Triforce with small steps. Putting in 3 minutes of video work daily. Started with just writing my script for 3 minutes or reviewing my drafts for 3 minutes daily. Then recording what I have written for 3 minutes, then editing. Like usual, sometimes motivation comes and I would put in more time. Eventually, I completed my video and I still remember uploading my first video. That was the hardest part. But once I did it, it didn't feel as bad as I thought it would be. There were 0 views. I didn't know what I was getting anxious for? Of course there would be no views. I don't know how to make good videos, and I'm not internet famous. I would say motivation is a mix of both momentum and desire. If you have the desire for the outcome that you want, and you really want it, then your small step of starting the movement will start the momentum, and the motivation will come. It's still not 100% dependable or reliable, but you just need to focus on your parts of the journey and be consistent and make that easy small steps daily. Looking back, I don't think I was actually lazy. I was trying to rely on motivation. And when the motivation disappeared, I stopped. Now, I don't wait for motivation anymore. I simply make the first small step, so small that I can do it, even on my worst days. Remember to train your own Triforce. Power through exercising your body, wisdom through learning, courage through creating.